The win, they win the series. Yainer Diaz goes deep for his first major league home run. Hunter Brown looks good today, but they almost give the game back to Chicago. We'll talk about this and the offense that shows up for an inning or two on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Veer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, when you're not going to a Killers concert with me tonight, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom, to my wife, and to all the moms, to Betty, to Lisa, and to all the moms in my life. Thank y'all for the wonderful job y'all do.
Yes. Also, thanks to all the moms in my life, everybody, that even my ex-wife's mom, who's still very involved with my children's life, helping them get to school when I have them. So Mother's Day is very important. And And in fact, my girlfriend was celebrating Mother's Day with her mom and couldn't go to the Killers concert tonight. So Brett was able to step up for me tonight. So thank you for that, Brett. But
I am your Yainer Diaz to your Martin Maldonado, right?
Right. Yes. So guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and make sure you subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen and become an everydayer. I know we're a little bit early today, but we have to take off pretty soon and head to the Toyota Center. But we wanted to still give you your show today. And so make sure you listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And I know who are we playing next? I haven't even been looking.
We're playing the Cubs.
The Cubs?
We're playing the Cubs
awesome.
next. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Trey Mancini will return to a 15-second tribute video where they will show him stopping the ground ball in the World Series.
Well, if
because he's with the Cubs.
Even if he gets that.
I mean, because he's going to get his ring, you might as well show his one World Series highlight, right? I mean,
right.
Show the first home run. But yeah, it's the Cubs. But look, it's Framber, it's Javier, and it's JP France. I like our chances in the next series. But we're playing two Chicago teams, one in Chicago, one back in Houston. So welcome home, guys.
Yeah, if you want to catch every pitch of this series, go and check out Sirius XM. You'll hear Robert Ford, Steve Sparks with all the play-by-play on Sirius XM. Just go to the App Store and download the SXM app. And first pitch is at 7:10. And just search Astros. And pretty soon, this is another avenue for you to find the Locked On Astros podcast. So Brett just put it up there. So there's a lot to talk about. There's been some more clarity about what's going on with Michael Brantley. He actually spoke to the media. And so that's awesome to actually hear what's going on from his mouth versus just, yeah, you're not allowed to talk to him. And Yainer Diaz had his first major league home run. We're going to talk about that. Brandon Bielak is surprising a lot of people. I think the starting pitching overall looked pretty good in this series. It wasn't Saturday's game. We'll just go ahead and call that the Montero game. The Montero game, and the offense just decided to go and celebrate Mother's Day early and go ahead and go out to lunch with their mom and just not even show up for batting practice or anything.
Man. Golly, man, throw some shade and kick a. Hey, man, we just won 4-3. But look.
No, I said Saturday, not Sunday.
No, I know. I understand that. Montero, I mean, he's really number one. The Astros have come under scrutiny all season about signing him to the deal. They signed him in 2. There's only 5 relief pitchers that make more money than him in Major League Baseball. Ari Alexander from KPRC tweeted that out over the weekend, and I thought that was a little – it's like, I didn't realize it was that high. And the last 3 outings, Eric, he's just been given up. His ERA is through the roof. He is not locating the pitches where he was last year. And what's interesting about baseball is it's really hard not to have a recency bias, because last year Montero was absolutely locked down. And I remember Mariners fans kind of coming at us, y'all got Montero, you'll see. And he was nails last year. He was phenomenal. He was dependable. And he really was one of the MVPs. I mean, him and Stanek both were very good, were excellent. But it's rare that you see relief pitchers in these roles go year in and year out where they're good every single year. There's not a whole lot of guys that have track records where they go year to year to year where they're back to back. So there's some things he's got to figure out. There's some things that they've got to retool with this guy, because where he's locating the pitches, Eric, he is just throwing BP right now. And when the bats are as inconsistent as they are right now with the Houston Astros, now I don't expect them to win a game even against the White Sox, only scoring 1 run. They could have scored more runs. But when your relief pitchers aren't out there, there's not really much of a late inning push you can make and get motivated for. So, this series went the way of the offense. When the offense decided to show up, they won. When the offense decided to not show up, they lost, and they almost lost today.
Yeah, in today's game, you had Tim Anderson with 4 hard hits. He only had actual 1 hit. The Astros made some great plays on him. I believe he was the guy that at the end of the game Chaz McCormick, I was trying to set up for the show and everything, but Chaz McCormick laid out for that ball. That was beautiful. And you saw a lot of great defensive plays. And what we saw this series is Jose Abreu. I'm not going to say his bat has awoken yet, but he looks a little bit more alive on defense. You can say that, right?
Yeah, he looks a little bit more alive on defense. Did he get like 2 hits this series?
Yeah.
So yeah, his bat's still not awake. His bat is still I don't know where it is, but yeah, I mean,
his exit velocity there. It's getting there.
He made some key hey, look, this is kind of funny. Tim Anderson got on base with a single, and someone replayed the footage of it from the AT&T broadcast, and it looked like Tim Anderson was talking to Abreu, and it looked like he mouthed the words, "I hate this place," or "I hate it here." And like Abreu's like, "Well, I'm not having much fun in Houston." I don't know what Abreu said, but the White Sox are having a terrible year. But man, like Tim Anderson in this series. Like if you were to give an offensive MVP outside of someone like a Jordan or whatever, Tim Anderson was hitting the cover off the ball this series. He could not be stopped. I mean, he was getting hit after hit. And towards the end of the game, when they were able to get him out finally, that was a big out. And so, Abreu, he's just kind of sleepwalking right now. They have kept Tucker and Jordan back to back, which is phenomenal. And the Astros are still a championship team. And if you're a championship team, you want the right parts, the right fit, and for the right price. So I'm going to tell you about eBay Motors right now. It's a championship season. Yes, we're the reigning world champs, and eBay Motors is there to make sure that every player and every part, I should say, for your car fits just right. So when your vehicle needs a part, you don't want to just mix match things. You want to make sure everything that you put in your vehicle is what it's supposed to be. So with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure that every part fits right. Basically, what you do is you load your car into my garage, and you look for the green check to know that the part fits. If for some reason it doesn't fit, you'll get your money back guaranteed without a problem. The thing is, they have over 122 million parts to choose from. You'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts and the right fit. Get the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
All right, and make sure you become a Locked On Astros everydayer. A Locked On Astros everydayers is somebody like Mauricio Dubon, who even when he's not playing second base, he finds his way in the lineup. And we had Jeremy Pena today get his first day off during the season. And so we had Mauricio Dubon still leading off, but playing shortstop. So that was pretty cool. But I do want to kind of go back to what you were saying before the break about Dusty Baker getting out of his comfort zone a little bit. And I think it goes back to a bat that Alvarez had on Friday versus Bummer. And I think he said, okay, well, I don't think I have to worry about Tucker and Alvarez facing lefties because Bummer, they're doing pretty good. I was trying to work it in there, but I couldn't. But a Bummer right now, though, is Bummer's ERA. Did you know it's 9.45 on the season? And Ronaldo Lopez is 7.64. I mean,
Really?
I know some of the Astros relievers, he who shall not be named until a little bit later on the Astros, Montero, have a little high ERAs, but Bummer used to be a pretty good reliever, and he throws 100 miles per hour. So you would think that his ERA would be a little bit better. But I think,
but then again, with the 100 miles an hour, velocity is a double-edged sword from a pitcher's perspective because velocity is there. Like today, Abreu's velocity, perfect example, pumping 97, 90 mile an hour fastballs, 98 mile an hour fastballs over the plate, missing bats, because it's all about placing the ball, because the harder the ball comes down the pipe, the farther it can fly. So that exit velo off that bat can be huge. And so, Bummer's been very inconsistent. He was good, I think, a couple seasons ago. He hasn't been where he was at one point in his career. But, the Astros have issues of their own. When Ryan Stanek is off, he throws hard. When those hard throwers miss their spots, they either walk or they give up hits. And they don't just give up hits, they give up hard hits. And so that's what you have to avoid when you are a flamethrower.
Yes, and even if you throw 100, 101 miles per hour, you still got to have some type of movement, like Wallace is saying.
Right.
And that's why you see a lot of people like Aroldis Chapman. I know he does have some movement, but you see them struggle at times during the playoffs. And I know it's way too soon to talk trades, but Aroldis Chapman is somebody that the Royals will likely trade at the trade deadline. And then if you look at the Astros situation, Salvador Perez is a guy that the Astros will probably go look at, but it's going to take a lot. Somebody like him and you also have to take on the $20-something million contract that he has. So that would be a big thing. But for Dusty Baker to move Abreu back to the 5-hole, and then we don't know how long Altuve's stint with the AAA Space Cowboys will be. I know that he's 0 for 9 before today's game. I don't know if they played yet, but he hasn't looked too good yet. But
it's just his timing.
Yeah,
I
know.
He hadn't swung the bat, and so someone asked earlier when he'll be back. Eric, I'm guessing that he'll be back possibly at the closest by the end of the week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I think it would be when he's ready. And I think that he's a beast. He's a Terminator. He's a predator, whatever they want to call him. And he's been healing pretty quickly, but he needs to be where he's doing well. And in a little bit, we will address Michael Brantley. He did speak. He did address the situation. And how long is he be out? We don't know, but we will talk about Michael Brantley. But what was weird was the fact that Yainer Diaz played in a game that Hunter Brown pitched. We do need to talk about Hunter Brown too, but he did not catch Hunter Brown. And Dusty Baker was asked about that, and he said, well, I just feel like if something happened to Yainer Diaz, Martin Maldonado need to have some experience catching Hunter Brown. And I when I heard that and read that, I'm like, I'm just like want to do a face palm and whatever. Just like this is a veteran catcher. This is a guy that you say is your pitching leader. If something happens to Yainer Diaz, I'm pretty sure he can figure out how to catch Hunter Brown.
Yeah, that was look. Sometimes Dusty just says things that makes you scratch your head. Of course, I would never question or ever attack his baseball intelligence because he has far more experience in the game than I'll ever have. But the initial reaction is what I saw all over social media and just friends and people that I know. They were like, so why wouldn't you start Diaz more against Valdez and Javier in case your 36-year-old aging catcher goes down with an injury? Don't you want him to have experience with those pitchers as well? So sometimes the explanations, I think, miss the mark. I don't think he intends for them to miss the mark, okay? I think he really at times feels like he has to justify. And if I was him, I wouldn't even say that. I would say, because I like the matchup with Martin Maldonado behind the plate. I liked him with Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown has had Diaz behind the plate every game. I think it's time he has a veteran catcher back there and leave it at that. Sometimes I think the way he delivers it and what he says leaves himself opened up to, be opened up for criticism and scrutiny, because it's easy to take someone's words and manipulate them, right? You don't know his intention. You don't know his heart. And so that's always a fun game to play in the media. Dusty, a lot of times, is media gold. He'll say things that we love to repeat, our thoughts by Dusty segment and things like that. But Diaz needs to be in the lineup more. Diaz showed today with his power. Diaz has a bat, but that bat cannot get going if he's not in there consistently. I don't mind Diaz being a DH. I don't mind Martin being behind the plate. Diaz needs at bats. He needs to be in the game. He needs to be catching more, and he needs to have at bats, period. In the story, I don't think there's any debate there.
I just love how the Astros sometimes, especially when like a rookie hits their first home run, they do the silent treatment. It's like when you say something clever, I give you the silent treatment as well. And so it's just a really cool situation. And then you have the whole team just kind of, oh no, we're just playing with you, and then rush in and just give him high fives and everything like that. But Yainer Diaz was just like playing up. Bregman was pretending to look at his iPad, and Diaz just kind of like high five the iPad. And then you see Abreu in the background, Jose Abreu, just kind of giggling because I guess I don't know if he's not used to that, but then everybody just kind of ran in. And I saw a lot of people making a big issue about the fact, he was in the hole, but that Martin Maldonado did not join in once everybody.
Oh, you know what? I saw that, and I wondered if people were going to jump on that. Oh, look, Martin doesn't like Diaz. I'm like, no, he was putting on his batting gloves, getting ready to go up on deck. And so, I don't look, this clubhouse does not have issues like that. I mean, to make a mountain out of a molehill there, I think is pretty lame, and basically tells me that people don't really know a whole lot about this team. Diaz came in there. I love the silent treatment. I mean, when someone messes with you, like, when you're in college growing up, they've kind of like accepted you into the fold. Diaz has been with this team pretty much every day. And so he's as much part of this clubhouse as anybody else is. And so this clubhouse is fun. They like to play around. So I love that silent treatment. What's up? Why are you looking off to the right?
Oh, sorry. I was giving you.
Oh, you give me this silent treatment.
Yes,
I was like, what? I was trying to think, what did I do?
You missed it too. I said when you say something clever, I give you the silent treatment. And
exactly. Oh no, I totally missed it because I was kind of in the zone. I was in the H-Town Wheelhouse zone, I guess.
All right. So but it was good to see Yainer Diaz get that hit there, and because his bat's been struggling recently. And the Astros, they scored the runs early. Alvarez had that big 2-run double early in the first inning. Then you had Dubon and Bregman get the little bloop hits early in the game. And the Astros scored 3 runs in the first inning. I can't remember how often that's happened. In fact, I'm going to actually look up that as we're talking.
Well, so while you're looking that up, so they've been averaging only 3 runs the last 6 games. They scored 4 today. They broke out. The offense broke out. But Eric, we need more of these crooked run numbered innings. We can't just survive on 1, 3, 4, or 5 run outburst.
Right.
This team needs to do this multiple innings. I don't like, though, what I'm seeing from Bregman overall. He's still 204. He was still only 1 for 4 today. He had many opportunities this series to score runs, to bring runs in, and they just left too many on base. They left way too many on base the game before. They still left, several on base today. Well, I guess they left 4 on base today. They didn't have as many opportunities. They did have 9 hits. This offense has been as much of a question mark and problem as people hyper focusing on whether Maldi's starting over Diaz or whether they should have signed Abreu. Those 2 issues don't highlight where this offense is. This offense is 100% centered around 2 people, Tucker and Alvarez, period. I know Pena has 6 home runs. I know we've got a couple of the guys who have 6 home runs, but Alvarez and Tucker have, I would say, 80% of the runs that this team scored. And someone's like, well, maybe the league will figure out not to pitch to Jordan. I'm like, if they haven't figured out to not pitch to Jordan by now, they're probably not going to figure it out the rest of the year. They're going to keep throwing it to Jordan because they're not afraid of the rest of the lineup. I think when the rest of the lineup wakes up, then you're going to see more walks to Jordan Alvarez. But is he just keen at the plate? I love this guy. Did you see his expression when that ball stayed fair, the ball that he hit down the right field foul line? And he just stood there like his face was like, ready. Are you
That's
kidding
not fair.
me?
I'm not ready.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Hey, we are going to talk about Hunter Brown in a second, and we are going to address the Michael Brantley stuff. But Brett, I want to go and give y'all a quiz, you a quiz. And in celebration of us going to the Killers concert, go ahead and drop your favorite Killer song in the chat, guys. But Brett, here's your question. Which 2 innings have the Astros scored runs in, the least amount of runs in this year?
The first inning and the 5th inning.
It is the 2nd inning. They've only scored 9 runs, and the 6th inning, they've scored 10 runs.
Well, hold on. How many runs have they scored in the first inning?
20.
Really?
That's not including today's game.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I didn't think they got on the board.
2nd inning, 9.
Okay.
6th inning.
Oh, that's
10.
right. Because they do a lot of like 1 run here, 1 run there. Like they'll go up 1-0, then they'll go behind and the offense won't show up.
Yeah. So I know, but if you look at what they've done in the later innings, you got in the 9th inning, they've scored 20 runs, 22 runs in the 8th inning, and 7th inning, 27 runs, 5th inning, 20 runs, 4th inning, 17 runs, 3rd inning, 20 runs, and 1st inning, 20 runs. So they're pretty consistent except for that 2nd inning. And 2nd inning and the 6th inning.
But the thing is, though, they just haven't this offense has got so much more. And obviously, we can't wait for Brantley to come back because we don't know when he's coming back. We can't wait for Altuve is going to come back, right? But he's still going to have to get his timing down. I mean, you can't expect this guy to be interjected into this lineup and right away make an impact.
Yes, you can. He's Thor. Thor just had this beer belly, and he became a
that's
again.
Jordan. That's Jordan is Thor. Altuve is, I don't know what superhero he would be. Well, I almost said one, but it would be wrong.
Don't say Rocket.
No, I would not say Rocket. I almost said Ant-Man.
No. I was just saying, coming back from just I guess not playing or being out of shape or something like that. But I think that I think we can expect maybe not the home run power initially, but I think you can expect him to come hitting. But I think you'll have to give him a little bit of time, but we'll see. So definitely let's go and switch to the pitching. I know JP France did really good this on Friday, 6 innings. It was just I think he gave up a home run, right? But overall, it was a great appearance. He's looking like a dominant pitcher. Then Brandon Bielak, he did pretty good considering he's facing
he did it. He did an
5 innings, 8 hits, 1 earned run, One home run was to that kid that kept on killing the Astros all weekend, which is Robert Jr.
Oh man.
Susie kept on calling him Lou Bob Jr.
Well, here's the deal with him, and that's a guy that really the White Sox depend on. And really, when you look at their lineup, you think, okay, this is an offense that is formidable. You look at their pitching. This is a pitching staff that really has some really good throwers on the mound. They just have not been putting it together. They've been dealing with injury here and there. Right. They're still waiting for Hendricks to come back. He's actually on his way back from his cancer diagnosis, which is really cool. That'll be neat to see him return to the mound. But this offense is going to need some sparks from Dubon again, some more from Julks. When Myers and McCormick, when they get their opportunities, they need to not just make defensive plays. They need to contribute with the bat. And Bregman, I don't know what's going on with Bregman. Bregman just, it's like the moment you think he's going to just come out of this, I wouldn't say slump, just come out of the funk that he's in. Mm-hmm. He just kind of slides back into it. Defensively, he's phenomenal. Defensively, he's Alex Bregman. He's your all-star third baseman. He's not being DFA'd. He's not being sent to AAA. Abreu's not being sent to AAA. I keep seeing people say this on social media. Terrible take. These guys are major leaguers. They've got to work out of it. And this isn't the first time that Bregman or Abreu's been in a slump. It's not going to be the last time in their career. But be patient with those guys because they'll put it all together, I think, eventually.
All right. So Hunter Brown was what I was leading to in that situation. I think that maybe Dusty Baker just felt like he needed a reset. Maybe a reset from having the same old catcher, maybe just to clear the mechanism to go back for the love of the game. And that's why Martin Maldonado started today. And I think it looked pretty good. He had 8 strikeouts in this game. 7 of them were on curveballs. The curveballs are really good against the White Sox. I know Robert had the home run against him. And overall, he did give up some hits. Overall, he gave up the 3 runs, but for most part, I think it was the fact that Baker tried to stretch him out into the 6th inning, like he's done with all the pitchers, it seems like. But still, this was a good bounce back appearance for a young rookie pitcher that's trying to just establish himself in this league. And so his ERA on the season is pretty darn good. It is 3.43. He allowed 2 home runs today, actually, on 7 hits, but his record is 4-1. And I know wins aren't the be all end all, but still.
No, but he's still leading all rookies in WAR. He's still leading all rookie pitchers in strikeouts and innings pitched in ERA. So I think he's well on his way right now. If the vote were to go today, Hunter Brown would be the American League Rookie of the Year, hands down. And I think he continues this trend. Look, I think it also gives them confidence too, Eric. You've got 2 of your main pitchers out in Garcia and Urquidy. And to top that off, you've got the top 2 pitchers that are in there with you. And then JP France comes along, and we can't forget about him. His second start looked phenomenal. JP France can't get lost in the mix. I mean, he's coming in, replacing an injured pitcher. And so you've got JP France, who's coming in with a lot of expectations. First 2 major league starts, looks great. Hunter Brown continuing to
Forrest
fight.
Ridley did good.
Yeah. Forrest, well, we're sticking with the Astros right now. We'll get to him. He had a decent start, but it's great to see Hunter Brown doing what he's doing, because when he gets in trouble and he gives up a hit, it's like he focuses. It upsets him and it motivates him in the right way. And a lot of times young pitchers, Eric, when they give up stuff, they tend to overthrow. And when you overthrow, you either walk or you put stuff where they're not supposed to go, and boom, balls end up out of the park even more. And you see the wheels fall off. And we haven't seen that with Hunter Brown. So I think it was smart to put Martin behind the plate just for the reason you mentioned. Mentally, that's not a bad move. Mentally, that's great. You got Diaz in the lineup. I think that's a key. I think that's a keynote that people need to make sure that they pay attention to.
In a world where the Astros are 29th in batting average with 207, 29th in home runs, 29th in runs scored, 30th in on-base percentage, and 29th in slugging percentage, this world needs a superhero like Michael Brantley. Where is Michael Brantley, you might say? Where did he go after Anaheim? Well, apparently he went to Dallas to get his shoulder check, and he had some inflammation in his shoulder. And this is something that he's gonna he was actually dealing with some pain when he was playing with the Sugarland Space Cowboys. And this is what he said. As a competitor, you want to be out there with your team. I love these guys. I love this organization. No one's more disappointed than myself. But at the same time, I'll continue to put in the work, keep my head down, and be the best teammate I can. He said that the shoulder was not recovering like he had hoped. They sent him to Dallas to consult with the doctors who had performed his surgery in the first place. There he received an MRI that revealed the inflammation. He said, I've been trying to push through a few things. I mean, that's what we do, right? But at the same time, it just got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. I understand there's going to be good and bad. Everybody's probably working through something. This is baseball. I understand that as well. But I've got to be healthier than I was going to compete at this level. There are the best players in the world, and I'm not going to go out there if I'm hurting my team in any way. Signed, Chad Qualls. No, sorry.
Good Lord. Should we throw a Chad Qualls in there? Good Lord, man. I mean, you can't put Michael Brantley and Chad Qualls. Come on, man. I understand what you're saying there, but look, Michael Brantley, I'll be real honest. I don't know that I'm confident that he will play much before the All-Star break. I'm not too confident how much he's going to play at all this year. I've kind of, in my mind, and this is just me personally, okay, this isn't like intel or inside sources, but I just personally am going to look at this team going forward as if Michael Brantley's not going to contribute at all in the lineup. Because if he does, it'll be a great surprise, and I won't be disappointed. I'm just not expecting him to really do that. So then going forward, that makes you wonder, are there trade deadline pieces that they're looking at outside of pitching? Are they going to worry about filling that hole in left field? Are they going to just, use Diaz, Alvarez, and all of them? Like what is going to happen? Because if Chaz no, you don't have to go to Dearden yet. Because if Chaz and Myers are both healthy, you can put Chaz in left and Myers in center. So you've got left field taken care of right now. You don't necessarily have to call up anybody. But my thing is, at the end of the day, this team, with all those lower rankings offensively, we are only 3.5 games behind the Rangers. The Rangers are only 24-15. We're 21-19. And so the Houston Astros, I think, are fine. We've not had Altuve. We're down Brantley. JP France is exceeding expectations. Brandon Bielak's holding the line. Hunter Brown is looking like a Rookie of the Year favorite. Javier and Framber continue to do those things. Abreu is looking really good in the relief pitching spot. And so you've got bright spots on this team. You just need more consistency from this offense. I don't necessarily have to have long balls. I just have to have RBIs. I have to have RBI chances. And when RBI chances come up, the runners in scoring position, Jordan can't be the only guy hitting with runners in scoring position. Because right now, it's pretty much him and nobody else.
Right, guys. Don't forget to catch every home play-by-play call of every Astros game on the Sirius XM app. Just download the app. Just search SXM and search Astros. The first pitch is going to be 7:10 on Monday. It's going to be Jameson Taillon versus Framber Valdez. This should be a very favorable matchup for the Astros, but we'll see. So just go check out Sirius XM. And I know you talked the other day about phantom injuries. At some point, I hope I kind of wish there's a phantom injury to Mr. Montero, so we don't have any more Montero games. But otherwise, please, Montero, let's figure your stuff out for the team for the next 2 years after this year. Rafael Montero, you need to do better. And that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Brett and I are going to a Killers concert, and happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Everyone who calls yourself a everydayer, happy Mother's Day. And everybody else who's not a mom, just go call your mom and say Happy Mother's Day. Brett, you got anything else?
No, just make sure you call your mom, tell her you love her, and thank y'all again. Will the Astros continue to be the daddies of the rest of the league? I don't know. Let's have a good one. Y'all go have a great weekend and a great week. We'll see y'all tomorrow night.
All right, go Astros.